Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdicus Dave, and today I'm joined by ROLLINKUNZ. How are you doing today, sir?
I am doing that is such a weird question to ask in the apocalypse, but I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's
I'm doing
it,
happy.
there's like so many answers like in there, right? Anywhere's from like, oh, I'm doing well, to I'm doing horrible, or I'm doing well, but I feel horrible for doing well.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's me. That's me. I'm that one.
yeah. Um, so someone was like, I'm having the best year of my life, and I feel terrible for it.
Mhm.
So yeah, the apocalypse, the end times is kind of weird. Um, but we're all doing the best we can and trying to make it work. And I'm sure one day heroes will arrive to vanquish the darkness, and we can go back to whatever equates to being normal again.
Yeah, we'll emerge from the vault and
Yeah.
see what is left of society.
So, Roland, what is it you do?
I'm a illustrator and game designer, and I focus on inky art, stuff that's inspired by the likes of like Mike Mignola or Gabriel Ba, comic artists, like super ink heavy comic artists, Eduardo Riso. And as far as game design goes, I like to make weird stuff, basically. And you'll find I have a penchant for silly names as well, I think, as we go.
I think it comes with gaming, though. Like gamers tend to be kind of a little silly, goofy, weird, and punny. Any combination thereof, maybe all of the above.
Yep, yep. I often as far as game design goes, it'll either start from for me, my like process of figuring out a new design. It'll either start from something that I want to abstract, or yeah, like something an experience that I want to abstract, some kind of weird system that pops into my head, or just the name. It'll just come from a name, and I'll build out from there. Be like, good game, good name, good name, good game.
Perfect. What more do you need?
Yeah,
Step one, come up with names. Step two, step three, profit.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and you're there. That's awesome. So, congratulations! You just had a pretty successful Kickstarter, the Dungeonerator or Dungeonator. How do you say it?
The Dungenerator.
Dungeonerator. There you go.
I've had a lot of people say, so it's the Dungerator.
Yeah.
That's the risk of a portmanteau, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I see what you say. You just gotta put. I just gotta put my finger on done, and generator is right there. Done generator. Done. Yeah. So yeah, congratulations on that. And that looks like a pretty fun product you threw together. What is that?
So it is a. I mean, I'll just pull it from the tagline. It's a deck of cards that generates inky organic dungeons. It's got over 60 pieces of hand inked art by me, which is it's a whole bunch of dungeon rooms basically. And kind of the cool part about it, I've seen a lot of like tile systems, like square tiles and stuff like that, in order to randomly generate dungeons. The neat part about mine, I suppose, is there the odd like poker card shape, which sort of makes it difficult normally. But whenever a card overlaps, you're just gonna like pick it up instead and flip over the last card that you placed onto its dead end side. So just that simple, like just a real simple algorithm makes really cool, like twisty organic dungeons. I found so yeah, and I don't know, people seem to like it. My brother threw together a really silly video. Um, a weird voiceover for it, and he did all the animation and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what made it blew up. Honestly, I'm kind of flabbergasted. I don't know why it blew up. I have a,
People
a
like random stuff.
yeah, yes. Well, yeah, sure. Like generation tools, and it's small, and you could you I think people can just imagine fitting it in their house and into their virtual play too, because it comes with digital version of it, and it's already got all that stuff unlocked. So
Nice.
that's probably what's doing it. People are moving to virtual tabletops, so I wanted to make something that was, easily compatible with that too.
And when are you expecting delivery?
So I expect it early next year. I'm gonna try to start delivering in December. But it's gonna be split between. I mean, I don't know how deep you want to go into like the delivery mechanics and stuff like that, but in order to make the shipping as cheap as possible for everyone, I'm gonna do a split manufacturer between the U.S. and uh, eh, there's a manufacturer in the EU
Uh,
that, so basically a lot of people will be able to avoid VAT tax. This is probably getting boring. Um, Anyways, let me just say, in order to make it as cheap as possible for everybody, it's split into two places, which means that the US stuff is probably going to start getting fulfilled before the fulfillment center in the EU can. So
yeah.
it's going to be like a weird like rollout of stuff over
I,
the next.
I I am well aware of that process.
Yeah, it's just
We're
going to be
we're
a bunch.
kind of like living it right now a little bit just because of logistics of things and where
Yeah.
things are and where how things get finished. Unfortunately, yeah. But I bring
So
that up because, folks, you can still kind of back the project and get it. The backer kit is open right now. There's links in the description to check it out. It is kind of cool. I love the goblin art over there as well.
yeah, thanks. That was I did a series of goblins. I mean, it's kind of an ongoing series that I call Goblins Never Die, and yeah, I just like drawing goblins. I don't really have anything. Well, I guess it does come from multiple places. Like obviously, there are all the cool goblin influences like Games Workshop and Blizzard and Pathfinder. Like they're all kinds of different. I mean, you
Do you
maybe
have a
see.
favorite goblin
Gosh,
style? I guess.
I really like to mix them. I really like to have, every flavor goblin.
Uh huh.
Those are a few of my influences as far as like goblin styles go. Um, but actually, I'm a really huge fan of the. Are you familiar with Grant Howitt's Goblin Quest?
I am not.
Oh, you gotta look it up. So Grant Howitt's the like Honey Heist and Spire, that designer.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And he made this standalone game. It's not DMless, but it's kind of close. It's like closer to the improv style of tabletop RPGs. It's called Goblin Quest, and you play as a pack of goblins, like a clutch of goblins each. Each player does.
Yeah.
So you design with this cute little like color your own goblin character sheet, five
Okay.
goblins, and
Yeah.
as they die during the story, you move on to the next one. So they're actually, that was actually a big influence for Fragnarok. And also, I just love the art in it. The a few different artists, but really cool goblins, and the lore for the goblins is really cool. It's very funny. It's very on the uh gosh, do you ever read like the um flavor text in like the Games Workshop stuff where they for like orc and goblin like greenskin codexes and stuff, like codices, I suppose it
I
is.
have not.
Okay, so it's like British humor
Okay.
goblin. Okay, that's
Okay.
what it is. That's really what it is. Like I'm a big British humor fan, like the classic stuff. I don't need to mention any names really, but yeah, Grant Howitt really has that on lock as far as kind of propelling that into the modern age. So um, yeah, check those goblins out.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Um. So, are you a big fan of dungeons?
I'm a big fan of dungeons. I am a big fan of dungeons. Yeah, and it's kind of cool because a dungeon can be all sorts of different themes too, right? So um, I'll get. I've been paid to do the second series of Dungeonerator, so I can kind of like tack on a new theme to that, right? And just sort of add like I don't know. Some people already started mentioning sci-fi stuff, but like a space Hulk or a giant spaceship, that can be a dungeon. I mean, it clearly is meant to be, right? Or like you know, a city, or you know, all sorts of different things. I just want to make a you know, I'll keep making these as long as people want them. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. If you enjoy doing it and people will give you their money, why not?
exactly. I like the I love thinking about the randomly generated tools and stuff like that too. So I'm working on some more of those. I got a couple of random generation projects uh, bubbling right now. Um, did you see that the Gobble Infinite generator?
No. Oh yeah,
Ah,
I did on your website, right?
yeah, you gotta scroll down a bit to the bottom of the Dungeonerator Kickstarter, but it's I'm working with a programmer to make a web app that randomly generates system agnostic goblins.
Yeah.
So it just with the art alone, like combinations of art, it I think I'm doing the math right, where it's like 1.2 trillion goblins. So basically, a human can't ever see the same goblin again.
Yeah, I don't actually know how I got there, but I was definitely clicking around this morning and I did find a random generator.
Try I think it's goblinfinite.party.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's the link. And again, I don't know how I got there the first time. I was like, just I saw the name and I was like, what's this? And I
sometimes,
was like, I must know more.
sometimes you're just wandering around and you open up a door and you're in a goblin party.
Boom. Yeah. And then this page came up with a random goblin. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's another button to push. And I pushed the button and another goblin popped up.
Yeah,
So
basically you get to decide. So because of, you know, how much finite time each human has in their life, you uh, you won't be able to ever click that button enough times to see the same exact goblin again, especially
uh,
with all of the names and stats generated. So basically, you're sacrificing their little goblin virtual life to the goblin
yeah.
god of Zug. This is I must stress, my programmer buddy, his name's Spencer, Stuff by Spencer. He has insisted that I stress that this is the beta. This is demo, so
Oh
it'll get
yeah.
good. But yeah, but I already think it's done a really good job. So
Yeah. I definitely didn't look at it and go, this is terrible for
yeah.
sure. No, it amused me. So definitely that's a thing. That's definitely a thing for people to check out. Maybe I should put a link somewhere to make it easier for them to check it out.
Well, I mean, if they watch the video, they get a treat, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's true. An Easter egg, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, so you also have a game that you designed, kind of a rules light RPG.
Yes. Okay. You're talking about Fragnarok. And
Ragnarok. And that's a
now,
great
now
name. I didn't know if it was going to be about Fraggles. I didn't know what was going on there, man. To be honest with
I've gotten that comment several times, so much that I really I want to make a little extra like single page mod for it where you're Fraggles in the same kind of situation. But
you.
let me
Yeah,
talk about the base game first. Um, so Fragnarok, it's a laser Viking setting, basically. So like not true Viking culture, but like true pop Viking culture. Like
yeah.
uh, what's a good example of like I guess He-Man is kind of laser Viking, isn't it?
I mean, is Laser Viking its own thing now?
I I yeah, obviously yeah.
Yeah,
So basically, in Fragnarok, you one of you plays as Odin, of course, the game master, and then everyone else plays as Vikings that have encountered alien technology and are using it to seek their glorious deaths. So um, basically, it's a super rules light. I wanted to make death fun. I wanted to make death like the level up mechanic. So
Uh,
whenever whenever one of the Vikings finally meets their end, depending on how glorious a death they had, they're going to earn like level up points for the next Viking, which is their descendant that just has been following along in the bushes or whatever and pops into the game. So that's the general idea how it works. There's a lot of there's like rules for like limb loss that are pretty important, kind of like central. And yeah, so content warning, limb loss, I suppose, is the thing there.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. um, but yeah, it's been a really um, fun time sort of virtually playtesting it with a bunch of different groups, and just yeah, excited that people are excited about it, you know. I also got to work with a bunch of great illustrators for it. So there are a few different inky styles in there. They did guest pages, and it's not just like straight up illustrators. I picked people from Instagram that I follow that are like content, like TTRPG content creators too.
Yeah.
You got like Bodhi, um, Dire Quest runs this really cool like choose your own adventure with he's it's like supported by Patreon. He's like doing it full time, but it's like an illustrated choose your own adventure like dungeon thing, and he's also got a bunch of he like releases like content packs and stuff like that. And then there's this great illustrator. I guess he does some D&D stuff. Like he's done some like D&D zines and D&D comics and stuff like that. But they're all heavy metal or like I don't know. I guess I just call it heavy metal. I'm sure that he's a little bit more specific with it. But they're all like that theme. So
Yeah.
he's got this like super wild style. It's really cool. That's Dark Wizard Berserker is his handle. Yeah, and then Skull Fungus. Are you familiar with Skull Fungus?
I am not familiar with skull fungus. I hope
Okay.
to one day have skull fungus, but
He does these great maps. You might he's kind of, I feel like he's blown up. He's maybe in Sweden or something like that, but he does a ton of isometric maps, and he's released some rules light RPGs too that have been in some they're kind of making the rounds. I bet you will hear of Skull Fungus pretty soon.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to investigate skull fungus.
You got to investigate Skull Fungus. Really great maps. All those guys, like I can't sing those guys' praises enough. So really happy that I got to work with them.
Yeah. So when you game, are you usually a player or a GM?
I can do the GM thing, but I'm usually a player because honestly, I love to I don't know, I love to facilitate. I think that's kind of like in that's like how I play games in general. Like I like playing a cooperative game. I don't like I'm just fully not competitive at all. Like if I'm playing anything like that, I'm just like, oh man, I just hope everybody has a good fun time. But
And
yeah,
the competitive guy's like, "Fuck you, you're gonna lose."
I'm like, yeah, I really am. It's gonna be great. But yeah, I just so I like to like build a character that I can yes and with as hard as I can, right?
Okay.
Like make it easy on the GM while I'm playing. So yeah, I tend to just like do a full like character voice, get in some fun situations, kind of like be that one that's like making suggestions, you know.
But I feel like when you make your own game, then you have to run more games.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like, I just want to be a player. Didn't you make the game? Yeah, but
Yeah, but no, I mean, I actually have gotten people to run Fragnarok for me, so that's good.
yeah. Well, you have to anyway, right? You have to see how it plays, and if other people can understand the rules that you've written, and
Yeah, that's yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, the playtesting, of course, for that, but even
you're like, no, I just didn't want to run, and
just just want to be a laser Viking.
Just want to be a laser Viking.
I'll do a great job, I promise.
Wait, so where did the concept for that come up?
Oh yeah, actually, so I don't think we talked about Grant Howitt's Goblin Quest on stream, did we?
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Okay, so yeah, Grant Howitt's Goblin Quest. There's actually a small limb loss mechanic in his, so it's coming from that, and of course he pulled the like 6-pack of goblins from the old Paranoia.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Where you got like a 6-pack of clones, so it all kind of rolls together. But yeah, that's my iteration on that. But also, I think I've got...
as long as the connector is dolphin safe.
hang on. I'm leaving.
You're out.
Yeah, I'm leaving. Bye. No, this comic here, The Spider King, that was influential too. It is very much about Vikings encountering alien technology. So, and it's got a really cool like inky style to it too. So I was like, make a good game.
Yeah. So you were inspired from the guy that already made the laser Viking thing. You're like, this needs to be a game. That's cool.
This needs to be a game. Yeah, and then the other kind of kernel of it was, I mean, at some point you want your art to mean things, right? So I wanted to kind of get across a particular vibe. Like I wanted to figure out a game whose mechanics would make death silly and fun, I guess. You know, okay. I mean that sounds a little grim, but just it's kind of the age that we're in. There's a lot of terrible and sad things going on, you know, and I just wanted to like bring some levity, some like, what do you call it, gallows humor. I wanted a gallows humor game, right? So that's the third piece of the puzzle, I suppose, is like, how do I you know, I guess maybe this is getting a little too heavy. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So it sounds like it's kind of a less serious game, but there's like other games that are more serious that are like two come to mind right away. Phoenix Dawn Command by Keith Baker is like, the only way your character levels up is they die, and then you can only die so many times and the game's over, right?
Oh, yes.
And then there's 10 Candles where it's like, you know, at the end of the game, everyone just dies. Like, you're going to die, like, and you know that going in. So I feel like there's definitely a place for games like that because it's part of the expectation. It's not like, surprise, you're dead. I hope you really loved your character a lot because now they're gone. You know, no, it's like, nope, this is definitely what's going to happen. And in a game where Vikings is the theme, like, it makes sense because it's like, well, how do you get to Valhalla? You got to die in battle.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it almost is a little counterintuitive to have a tabletop RPG about Vikings where the characters never die, right?
Yeah.
Like, it has to be important to them. Like the core of this character, like however this character's brain is working, like they're seeking that out, right? Constantly. At least this is what like pop culture would have us believe about Vikings, right?
Yeah.
Like, Norsemen. I guess that's another influence. Norsemen. Have you seen that Netflix show?
You know what? I have watched several episodes of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're very it's in the British comedy vein, I think. I mean,
I feel that's accurate.
Yeah, it's like the old Monty Python stuff where it's just like, oh, here we are. I guess we'll just make the best of it. Haha. You know, which is great. I mean, that's sort of the vibe of FRAGNAROK too. Like that's where it's meant to go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just currently, me and my wife are working our way through Vikings. I think we're in season 3 or 2. I don't know where we are, but we're currently working our way through it. Which also, when you're talking about the limb loss mechanic, it's like that just came up the other episode.
Yeah, it comes up in Norsemen too.
It's one of those things, you know. If you're going to have Vikings, I guess limb loss is a part of it as well.
Yeah, kind of core to the thing. And like I don't know, starving in the winter, but then like how do you make
Yeah.
that fun? I think gallows humor is maybe part of it too. I don't know. I'm trying to
Look.
now the one you were talking about that's all like high drama, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe not as much gallows humor in
No,
there.
no, not so much. So, have you played a goblin in 5e? Actually, do you
Oh
even
yeah.
play 5e?
Oh yes. Yeah. I love fifth edition. I mean, now it's not sparkling new, of course, but I was really excited when it came out. Like many, I was disappointed in fourth because it's really hard to run virtually.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
have a lot of map, a lot of very detailed stuff in there. So yeah, fifth, like turning it more towards the improv side of things, and the advantage mechanic is so smart, like such a easy way to like shortcut a whole bunch of
A stack of pluses and minuses.
yeah, I mean, obviously I like pluses and minuses too, as you can see behind
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
wall of inspiration here. But yeah, I play fifth edition right now. I'm playing a I mean, do you want me to talk about my Dungeons and Dragons character?
Sure, you can.
Okay, I'm playing a goblin cleric of Zug, a made up goblin deity of broken lies and things stuck in teeth, and and he's his name's Doorjammer Doomtongue, and he just learned how to animate dead. So he's got a bag of holding full of corpses.
Oh, nice. What domain?
Actually, I'm using this one called the survival domain that feels really tailored to goblins. I think it's I don't know where it's coming from. I used a character creator app to like put it together, so it sort of like added a bunch of supplements in. Um, but he talks kind of like Mo from The Simpsons, you
Nice.
know. It's a good time, yeah. Running the God, what is it called? Storm Giants.
Thunder.
Storm Giants Thunder. Yep, that's
Yeah,
the one.
yeah. I'm also playing a cleric of a goblin god, but he's a
Really?
human. He's a cleric of Maglubliet.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
That
yeah. He was raised by goblins. That's his backstory.
I love that.
so, so it's just me inserting like weird bits of goblin lore that I make up on the spot during the game.
Yes, yes. It's such a rich vein, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
you can really just kind of say whatever. I've got a running list of tenants of Zug. So like whenever whenever my character comes across a holy symbol, he's either got to deface it or sacrifice an eye.
Does it have to be his?
Yeah. Oh well, huh? That's interesting. I think maybe I think maybe you've got a great the beginnings of a great adventure right there.
Yeah, yeah. He's like the next time he's gonna be like, I can't really sacrifice this with all these clerics and paladins around. I'm gonna have to sacrifice an eye. I've only got two. I think Zug will understand if I sacrifice someone else's.
Yeah, I mean, so technically, as long as you own the eye, you can
Mm.
sacrifice it, right? you just
And
gotta, you just gotta collect more eyes.
and
What?
ownership, possession is 9/10 of the law, right? So
Yeah, man, that's a great idea. I'm gonna use that for sure. Just have a second bag full of eyeballs.
has he sacrificed any eyes yet?
No eyes have needed to be sacrificed. There is a growing collection of defaced holy symbols, though. So,
Yeah. Oh, so that kind of happens in another Netflix show, The Sacrifice of an Eye.
oh,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Oh,
Which,
I guess you don't want to spoil stuff.
yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but at the same time, I don't know. There is definitely a Netflix show along these veins that people could check out. It was rather new. It was pretty good.
Welcome to another game of Guess that Netflix show.
Yeah. But well, I won't say what character it happens to, or any character names, but the Barbarians. It's the Netflix show that was pretty good. I was watching. I was like, there was like 100 years that the Romans wouldn't enter a forest in Germany because they got their asses kicked so bad. I'm like, I wonder if this has something to do with that, and it did.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Hopefully, they do another season of it.
I'll have to check it out. I do love, fantasy battles, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and also too, it's kind of like it's not Vikings, but it's like the landlocked German version. So
Yeah.
they kind of worship the same gods. So
Land of Vikings, as they were known.
yeah, yeah. Vikings are too stupid to sail ships to be boatwrights on sail ships. I don't know.
Just put the boats up on wheels.
Yeah, yeah. Or didn't have water. That would do it too. I guess being a boatwright isn't very useful if you have no water. Yeah. It is. We are in end time, so it's like, what else is there to do than watch, Amazon Prime and Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and everything else under the sun.
Yeah, I'm glad for that. God, I think it's called Teleparty now. Like the Netflix party thing, they expanded it. It's a browser plugin for Chrome.
Okay.
And so, yeah, okay. So essentially, you can start a show like at a particular point in an episode, and then you invite other people that have that streaming service into it. So you can essentially watch a thing together, and then just in the chat, kind of like rip on it. I've been
Yeah.
watching a lot of Mystery Science Theater too.
Oh, nice. Well, I don't know. My son has had a couple of virtual dates
Oh yeah.
where they'll like jump on Discord and then he'll stream something from Netflix
Oh
or a
yeah.
streaming service through Discord and they'll watch it together. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, any way that people can connect, right?
So I mean, they're figuring it out, I guess, for sure. So I asked this question of most of the guests that I bring on. So you find yourself gaming more or less or the same these days?
Well, I'd say that my board game consumption has gone down, although I have found some great options for that. I am still doing a little bit of playtesting on Tabletop Simulator and a couple of modules from there, but also that Root. You know the board game Root?
I do not.
It's so good. It might be up. It's definitely up there with my favorite board games. It's fully asymmetrical. I guess it's a territory control game, but each player is playing as a faction of cute woodland creatures with really great art. And very inky art. So you know that it's like right up my alley already.
Okay.
But also it's weird, so it's also up my alley there. So each player is essentially playing their own mini game. So like there's one of the factions is cats, and they're essentially like a simple like Euro style area control, like build an empire kind of thing. But then there are these birds that start in just like one little corner, and they are kind of playing a programming game, like a simple programming game. And then there's a vagabond who basically gets to be an adventurer and doesn't have any units besides this one little like token, can't get killed, and just like gets to go and play all sides. And I don't know, it's really crazy, really great. They came up with an app for it, like a full like nice graphics, pretty
So
cool.
it's kind of like Risk with woodland creatures.
It's kind of like that. That's boy, I hesitate to call it Risk because like some of you are doing stuff that is just nothing like Risk.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, but like the cats, that's basically Risk. They're kind of playing Risk, They get to build buildings too, but yes, it's essentially that. Yeah, it's really weird. Anyway, I've been playing a bunch of that, and I think my tabletop RPG consumption has actually gone up because, what can you schedule with a group of friends where like everybody is excited to come back to it every week?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of like juggling three groups, and sometimes, usually not all three of those hit on the same week, but I'm kind of like bouncing in between those. And other than that, yeah, just marking the passage of time with projects. So
Yeah, I find that it's been like all over the place when I ask people, were you an online gamer before?
yes, but I definitely preferred in person. So I would do some virtual tabletop stuff, like for RPGs in particular.
Yeah.
And well, no, I don't know. I guess I did tabletop simulator too. Um, so I would do it a little bit, but yeah, like seeing people in person, it's like I'm a kind of an awkward dude, so having
Yeah.
a something to work on like while I'm meeting with people, that's
Yeah.
like kind of key. I fidget.
So do you doodle the whole time you get your gaming?
Yeah, yeah, or
Or
yeah,
draw? I
or
should
like
say draw. You're an actual illustrator.
you can say doodle. I don't mind. Yeah, like yeah. I tend to have some sort of activity
Yeah,
going on
yeah.
at the same time. My
Well,
pa-
so the like our D&D group was like the progenitor, I don't know, to Nerdarchy, which was a group that I started in my early 20s. And I guess, well, maybe not so early. I don't know. My youngest brother was a part of it, and he was like 16 at the time. And Ted, who would later, I was dating his sister at the time. He would later become my brother-in-law, and that was like 20 some years ago.
Oh.
And like we still like have remnants of that group left, and so we would meet every Saturday, and we used to play in the basement of the house that I had bought, and we had a piece of plywood that was like made into a table that we would use, and I kind of wish I still had it because it just had doodles and drawings all over it.
Oh, that's awesome.
From us gaming every week, and someone would sit down, and it was just a big sheet of plywood, so people would just start kind of like doodling away.
That's awesome. Have like a graffiti wall, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really great. That thing's an artifact now.
It is an artifact, but it's probably in the trash someplace in a dump, rotted away. But yeah. So definitely, and also like it always does seem like you always get stuck drawing people's characters.
Wait. Oh, no. I'm like, you can pay me. Yeah, that's a. I've learned to make that a very special treat.
Yeah. Or you'll get taken advantage of for sure. Are you familiar with Runehammer's work?
I don't know.
He does that inky style as well. And we were playing a game with him. We were playing The Expanse, and he was in it for a little while. And it was so cool because he would screen grab him doodling as we would play, and like you'd start like working the session notes into the doodle as he would do it. I mean, I should say illustration. They're much better than doodles. And it would blow my mind how someone could be involved in the game and still be able to do something like that. And also, he was like super fast.
Yeah, it's just a different part of the brain,
Yeah. I don't have that part of the brain, so I guess maybe stick figures. That's it.
It's there somewhere.
Yeah.
Just gotta put that graffiti wall back up.
Put the graffiti wall. Well, so my youngest brother, he ended up going to Philadelphia School of Arts, or what was it? University of the Arts, and became an illustrator. And when I was much younger, I would draw a lot. And he had asked me, he's like, well, why'd you stop drawing? I'm like, well, I wasn't really like, I was good to a point, and then it never got better. So I lost interest because I feel like people tend to do things that they I think some of the enjoyment comes from getting better at doing something, and I hit a wall when I was young, and it just didn't get any better for me, so I just stopped.
Yeah, I hear that. There's a certain point with a hobby, especially if you start like working for yourself or working freelance or anything that's in that vein. It Man, you start looking at things like, how do I monetize it though? Like, is
Yeah,
this worth my time actually? So yeah, I definitely have had hobbies where, I tinker around with them, and then I kind of uh realize that I should be drawing instead. That kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah,
But yeah, you gotta have something that just doesn't matter, right? Like, you gotta have something that's just like on the side, kind of fueling your fire, I suppose. It's easy to lose that.
yeah. So how long have you been working for yourself?
Oh, I've got a day job too. So
Oh,
but
yuck.
yeah, I know. But well, I've dabbled in the freelance lifestyle. It can be pretty rough. What Having to take jobs to eat makes them a lot less fun to do. So yeah,
That's fair enough.
yeah, I lucked into a job where I can do a fair amount of illustrating while I'm there. So
Oh, nice.
so that's kind of how I'm making it all work. But yeah.
The boss comes wandering over. I've been following you on social media, Roland. You seem to be getting a lot of stuff drawn.
Do you want me to draw your D&D character?
Uh,
Yeah, but yeah, so nobody tell. But no, it's fine. It's actually totally fine.
yeah.
It's all on the books.
Are you able to work from home?
Uh, there's a split basically. Yeah, so
Okay.
sometimes I still have to go in. So there's a lot of safety precautions. Um,
Hazmat suits.
yeah, exactly. Basically, yeah, I've got a lot of gear. So
Rappel down from the ceiling at night when no one else is around.
yeah, quick, get it all done, and then
Uh,
away.
well,
Got-
I think my brother's girlfriend was working a weird shift where they would go in when no one else was really in the office for that reason when they had to go in.
yeah,
So,
that's a good strat.
yeah, well, we're living in strange times, so we figure out ways to make things work. What else are we going to do?
I just realized that my display name is Eliza.
Huh? Oh, your character's name. People can't see it anyway because I got you in a box.
Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool.
It did not make it into the box. Which character is that?
That's actually
Or is it one of my? It's one of your kids.
I'm borrowing a computer right now. My computer doesn't do I don't know. I didn't want to mess with setting zoom up on my computer. Basically, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, I totally get it. Also, you're not the first one to have a different name, so and that's the funny thing. Like our kids now, they're just like they're gonna have all the Zoom stuff mastered, but I feel like RPG gamers were virtual people that were gaming online virtually. We were already kind of ready for this.
Right.
It's like we've already been socializing online for so long.
Yeah, I've practiced hunkering down in my apartment all my life, so
Yeah.
I am fairly prepared. It'll be all right. Yeah, I mean, it's still a shock to the system, but
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I think they're saying like Q2 next year might actually have vaccines. We'll be able soon after that. Hopefully, we can go back to somewhat normal. Yeah, I'm sure you miss cons. We were talking about that a little bit.
yeah, I really very much miss cons. Just I like going to concerts and stuff, but not that big of a sports guy, not really a church guy. So like going to conventions is where I get my real like connected feeling of connectedness to other human beings, right?
Yeah.
Like where you can just like
We're all like Captain Kirk now. Con!
like yeah, I don't know, being able to walk into a room and feel like, here are my people,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a definitely a feeling to miss. So eager to get back into the cons. Now I'll have some exciting new stuff to have a little booth and kind of pitch people while I'm there. It'll be easier than pitching board game designs. Should
Yeah,
be like, hey, check out these cool cards. You
yeah,
can make
yeah.
dungeons with them. Would you like them? No? Well, thank you.
You plan on doing any boothing?
Yeah, definitely. I actually I just like having a reason to be in a convention, so I will definitely do some of that when the time comes, but I'm gonna wait till it's nice and safe. Nice
Yeah,
and
yeah. It makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I haven't hit any cons this year because usually all of our cons happen later in the year that we usually hit up.
yeah.
So we didn't even hit like that, beginning time before like things were locking down.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think
now,
was the last convention I went to was PAX South. I think. Wait, PAX South happened in January.
yeah.
I did get to go to that one.
For us, it was PAX Unplugged last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Last year. Wait, is that? Oh, that's
It
in November.
happens like November, December
Yeah.
area.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, PAX Unplugged was so good. Uh,
Where have you been? You've been to PAX Unplugged?
yeah, I went the year before, I think,
Yeah.
with Brent. We rode up there.
Oh,
Took
cool.
a road trip. Brent Critchfield, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Was he boothing?
Yes. Yeah. I just came along to pitch some designs to some publishers and also help him.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to run the booth if somebody can watch it while you go pee.
Yeah, that is nice.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how those how the lone gunmen do it. It's like, I mean, I guess you just kind of make friends with your booth neighbors or whatever, booth buddies.
Yeah, I think that's the buddy system with your booth neighbor.
Yeah.
Seems like it. Like the only thing that's going to work. But yeah, so I guess last year was number 3 for PAX Unplugged, and that one's growing pretty fast. It's that one's been fun. We feel morally obligated to go to that one because it's so close.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Oh well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I would definitely go to that one every year. It was a full on road trip for us though. We
yeah.
stopped at the World of Knives on the way, and oh man, we saw the sights. I tell you.
Do you have a favorite con?
um, I mean, I just love PAX South. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's really convenient for me. So, I got to go to when I lived up in Wisconsin. I got to go to PAX East, and that was actually really good too. I guess I'm a fan of the PAX. It's kind of got a little bit of everything in there, but still a good chunk of the board gaming. I like going to the board game geek cons too. They're pretty close to me,
Okay.
and they're obviously very they're pretty board game centric, but there's some tabletop RPG stuff to do in there too. So.
Well, we love board games here as well. Ted is more of the board game aficionado, though. I'm a filthy casual when it comes to board games, and also I have a threshold, right? Like over 2 hours, and it's like I should probably just be playing an RPG.
Right. Oh well, that's the thing. It's like you're back to like, is this one worth my time, or should I be doing this? No, should I be monetizing this?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man, I have a threshold too. I mean, I don't know. I will play a multi-hour game, like board game, but
But it's just a matter. Is that threshold Betrayer House on the Hill, or is it Arkham Horror? So,
Right.
or is it
Yeah.
Risk?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the real threshold is like, is this game actually staying interesting over multiple
Yeah.
hours, or is it a game that like there is a really interesting moment that's going to happen in hour 3, like
Yeah. So
those
like
things.
House on the Hill, Betrayer is a fun game that is longer. That I'll always play that. And it's always different when you play it.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun. Arkham Horror I played once and I'm like, I'm good. I've had that experience.
Yeah.
Don't really need to revisit it.
No shame on people that love to keep cracking away at it, but that's more like a roguelike or something, kind of, like that experience, but it takes a long time to even set up.
Yeah, like it takes commitment. And it's cool if that's your thing. But
Yeah, it's cool.
I like games that I can play over and over again. I like Choirs, Smash Up.
Oh,
I
I
don't,
love Smash Up. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Zombie Dice. It is totally mindless.
I've played some Zombie Dice. I've
Uh,
pitched some Zombie Dice.
yeah. And then there's like an Aliens version.
Oh yes, yeah.
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 I just like things that occupy me for a brief period of time and then they're over. And then we can do it again or not.
Yeah, I want it to be, I mean, with my own design aesthetic, I suppose. I want games that are like interesting in themselves. Like, here's a unique experience. It's over as quickly as I can make it be over, and like
Yeah.
you still get that experience, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's
I
the
was going
whole.
to ask you if you've checked out Dungeon Mayhem and if you like that or not. But that is definitely head to head and not co op.
Oh yeah, I haven't. Hang on.
So Wizards put it out, and it's basically using the D&D classes, and you just basically everyone brawls each other. And then later versions of the game, they added monsters. So like you could be a barbarian, a wizard, or a red dragon, or a mimic. And all you're just trying to do is kill the other players.
Yeah, I think that there's a space for that game too. There was an older Wizards game. It's, man, I've got it on my shelf, but I can't remember the name of it. That was sort of in that same vein, but you like roll a bunch of dice, and it kind of had that sort of like zombie dice, that like
Okay.
push your luck mechanic, where you try to get a particular combination of dice in order to be, well, basically you roll a few times with that mechanic, right? So you can re-roll whatever you want, and then you take a look at your dice pool, and you can pick from those symbols, like, all right, what actions do I have the resources to do, right? And then you pick one of those, and it is just like brawl, like last man standing kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's totally space in my time. That's a weird thing to say for that kind of game, but I feel like it's not a virtual thing. It's like a sit
Oh
around
no,
the
no, it's
table,
a sit down
right?
in person, drink beer kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very much like, I'm at a convention, or I'm like with a friend group in person. So I don't know. I haven't played one of those for, well, I guess a year.
Yeah. So we used to play Munchkin every Christmas Day.
Sure.
Like, my brothers would be here, Ted would be here with his family, and now like some of the nephews are getting to an age where they can play with us as well. And then we kind of switched over from Munchkin to Dungeon Mayhem,
Mhm.
which is just faster, smoother, cleaner, less get all the way to the end. And one person's about to win, they get stopped, and it's like starting over again.
Yeah.
So less of that happening.
How does Dungeon Mayhem handle that? The like, I don't know what you want to call it, king making, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there's less. It doesn't really happen. Like there's like you're just doing damage to each other through different means, and you have a damage tracker, and there's like ways to heal, and like the wizard has vampiric touch, which is kind of like the closest to that kind of mechanic, where it's like you get to switch your health with somebody else's.
Whoa.
But even that, like there's ways to bring it down so fast that it's not like, okay, we're gonna slog away at this again.
I gotcha.
So
Okay.
it's not nearly as bad.
Yeah, that's if you can like shorten the playtime enough, then
Yeah.
anybody can stand your game, right?
Well, and that's the other thing for like the holiday game, right? You kind of need it because like we're kind of switching out players in and out of the game because there's I guess what do we got like there's three nephews now and then there's usually like five adults. Um,
How old's the youngest?
so you I want to say
Or
like
just ballpark, like is
12,
that
13. I don't know. They're
oh,
like this big. So,
okay, okay. I have a suggest. You've mentioned Smash Up. You've mentioned some other,
yeah.
uh, games that are totally up my alley. Have you played Epic Spell Wizards? Or yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The one where you use the different things to create different spells.
Wait,
Different.
Epic Spell Wars? Shoot, I'm totally blanking on the name.
I think I
It,
know the game you're talking about.
oh man, it's right on my shelf. Hang on, 5 seconds.
We'll also play like King of Tokyo. That usually makes the rounds. I was at D&D in the castle and we were at one of the bars and we brought a bunch of board games. And the game you're talking about, for some reason, I think that was one of the games that was there. I got
Yeah,
played.
it's Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards Duel at Mount Skull's Fire.
Yeah, so that's the one where you have like a beginning, middle, and end to a spell that you
Yeah,
put together, and
yes. And
depending on your cards. Yeah,
the art's got this great like Adventure Time slash super jail kind of like
yeah,
sort of like underground comics with an X sort of vibe to it. Love that one.
yeah. So I've played that once, but yeah, that sounds like it would be right up our alley.
Yeah, that's what that made me think of.
Although again, that was not this year, but last year at D&D in the castle, and also I think I was like I said, we took it to the tavern with us.
Mhm,
Took games to the
mhm.
taverns with us,
Important.
so a lot of drinking happened as well. So,
That's it. Yeah, it's a perfect mix. You're just like putting
mm,
cool pictures together and nuking people with weird spells and rolling dice. Like that's
yeah,
oh boy, I miss it. I tell you, I
good
miss it.
times. Well,
Yeah.
absence makes the heart grow fonder. So, it'll be back before we know it.
Maybe it was bad.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to mention for folks that they can grab um your one game for free. They can grab Fragnarok for free. They go over to the website. There's a link in the description, and they join your newsletter, right?
Yep, yep. Yeah, it's either $5 or the low price of free for joining my newsletter. That MailChimp will just send you a copy of Fragnarok if you do that as the like little welcome mail. So
Yeah, that's
uh,
awesome.
yeah, just that one. The whole goal with that is just kind of get it to as many people as possible, and hopefully people like it as a little treat. Also, the are we wrapping up? I guess
Yeah,
it's
yeah, we're getting close to the end.
we're getting pretty close. Okay, so then the other free thing to point people towards is the Goblininfinite.party.
Yeah, I dropped the link in there so people can find it.
I can't wait to see people's goblins. We're gonna kind of be refining the interface next, and I don't know, if people have suggestions for what would make these goblins more useful in a system agnostic way. Like,
Uh,
I think I'm the stats that it generates are a little hard to line up. So I think I'm going to make some custom icons that just kind of give you a sense of like this could be strength. You know what I mean?
right.
Like there's right now it's like a bunch of pools of random words that were each based off of the D&D stats. So I like looked at a bunch of kind of goblin-y synonyms for strength, right? And like made a pool of words for there. So it kind of like pulls a few random like key stats to make this goblin interesting in your game. So you can say like, oh, so this particular goblin has extra X, extra strength or extra cleverness or whatever, and less of this. So just a real simple method to inject some goblins in. I know some people are
They don't all have the same stats either.
no. Yeah, so that there there's a pool of 6 stats, but it's assumed that they just have like whatever the base stats are for goblin in your game,
Yeah.
unless they're mentioned, right? And then it can be +3 to -3 essentially. Like here are the things that stand out, kind of, right?
Like, so I just came up with Newsy Tree the Stuff with very weird spelling. Rackets, Healthiness, and Shifty. When I sacrifice them, I get Tubin the Thick Mold that has subtlety, muscle, and gumption.
Oh man, gumption. That's a good one.
Foresight, subtlety, and tenacity, Demons and Cave has. So yeah. I don't know what happens when you hit the immortalize button. I just know what happens when you hit the sacrifice button.
The immortalize button lets you save the picture.
Ah.
So you can you can have these goblins forever immortalized in your own little games.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some things to go check out. I want to thank you for coming on. Final thoughts before we head on out.
I don't know. It's really nice. This is fun. Thanks, Dave. And I guess the Dungeonerator is still available. Go get that, I guess. Forgot about that. Yeah, definitely see that thing.
All the links are in the description, and after this isn't live anymore, they'll be in the pinned comment. So until next time, stay nerdy.